So I was just watching a video by a guy by the name of David Spates, I think he is, David Spates. And he did a video called 1-800-White Girl. And I noticed on my YouTube channel, I've never actually talked about race, which is interesting because I love to talk about race. I think I've just been very engrossed in getting people to understand a higher level of consciousness, which I think is most important. And then everything else falls together, falls into place. But you still have to also examine the sores and wounds and things we're dealing with in society that need healing. And race is definitely, I think, one of the biggest ones. So I wanted to talk a little bit about interracial relationships. Firstly, I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with an interracial relationship. And in more particular, when people say interracial, we tend to go towards black-white, as if America is only black and white. But so let's focus there for a minute. So of course there's obviously, in my mind, nothing wrong with this. However, people get upset, not so much of, I think, the interracial relationship, but why people are getting in the interracial relationship. What is the consciousness behind it? And so, like, you can take black men, I think a lot of times it has to do with fulfilling the American dream. You know, like when I think in my mind the American dream, with the kind of images that pop up, things like a big house, right? You want a nice car, like a red car pops up, a Ferrari, you know, like these are some of the images. A golden retriever for a dog, not a pit bull, not a Rottweiler, not a Doberman, but like something like a poodle or golden retriever, you know. And there's no black woman there. There's not a black woman in the image that we've been given over and over and over and over our whole lives, right? So this is the consciousness that's been programmed into our mind as just Americans, be it black, white, or anything. So I think that then you have those brothers who, as they move up the ladder, be it corporate, then you got a lot of brothers in the NBA too as well. Once they get the money, it's like for them, their perception of success is having the white girl. And naturally, I can see why this would piss off a lot of black women, because their beauty is not being promoted. How many black women do you see without a perm? I mean, that's just the real. Of course, it looks good with the perm, but the fact that they can naturally do the whole Black Panther afro and be appreciated and seen as really a figment of beauty for it, that's a problem, you know. And then you look at the music videos of so many light-skinned women, right? Like if you look at a Lil Wayne video, and most of these guys, you know, they have a lot of light-skinned women in their videos. I mean, that's just a fact. So I see how the programming is going on. So even if you don't get the white girl, you might get a light-skinned girl. So the dark-skinned, wide-nosed, big-lip, afro-wearing woman is not appreciated as an aesthetic. There is indeed still a white aesthetic within America, no doubt about it. And I think then when black women see a black man go with these white women, that's a big part that hits them to the core. Like, oh, what's the matter with you? You can't appreciate where you come from. And this is true. But we also cannot get mad at the product of consciousness. Just as people get upset with people using the N-word. When it comes down to it, it don't matter what word we use. We could erase that word, something else is going to be replaced. because the consciousness is still there. So as long as the consciousness of what beauty is, or the consciousness of how we feel about ourselves is still there, then there's going to be some action in reality that follows that way of thinking. The same can go for a black woman with a white man. It doesn't bother me, but at the same time, I know that on some instances, it can be that same idea of what is success to her. It's like, and then the other thing is, sometimes it's just a matter of personality, attitude. Like, I know a lot of black men say that black women can have an attitude, and then black women can say the same thing, he's too ghetto or whatever, things like that. But I don't really want to get it all into that. I wanted to just kind of get more into the things that society has programmed into our conscious mind, so that some of us are propelled in one way or the other, and that we should not shun or get angry at the people, just as we should not get angry at someone using some kind of word we don't like, because these are just outer manifestations of what's going on. If we don't then start to propel the confidence in the beauty of the black woman, if we don't then start to feel the self knowing that we are part of something greater as black men, then the words and the relationships, all these things will persist. This is what has to change. And if the consciousness changes, then we will change along with it. Otherwise, you're just still putting a Band-Aid. It's very much like getting some Benadryl from the doctor. So that's what I have to say about interracial relationships.